Hey there YouTube, Tina the Teacup Teacher here, and I just wanted to do this short video to let you know what I'm doing in order to prepare for student teaching. I started my student teaching experience in only 3 days and I'm so excited and so ready. And I am so grateful that I've had a wealth of knowledge from experienced teachers and even just Google and other YouTube videos that really just show how teachers prepared for their student teaching experience. With that being said, I figured going into student teaching and not having actually started yet, I figured I would do a video on how I'm preparing in advance for my student teaching experience. I start in less than 3 days and I'm so excited, I'm so ready. I'm a little bit nervous, and I'm going to be completely honest, but I think that's completely natural, and I think it'll be healthy for me to experience nervousness since that's not something that I really feel all that often. So I just wanted to do this video because I am very grateful that I have had a wealth of knowledge from other teachers. I come from a family of teachers and they've all told me about their student teaching experiences, and I've looked at other YouTubers and I've read different things on the internet. However, they're all great, but they're from people that have done it already in the past, and I just wanted to give a fresh perspective as somebody who is going into it for the first time. So there's 10 tips on how I've gone about preparing for student teaching this fall. Now some of these may not apply to those of you that are doing this in the spring. Some of these just may not apply to you in general regardless of the time of the year, but if you can just walk away with even one tip or strategy that you find beneficial, I would be so incredibly happy. So let's get started. Tip number 1, contact your university supervisor, mentor, teacher, principal, or anyone else you'll be in contact with throughout the semester. Now this may seem a little bit odd, but I feel like that first contact is the most nerve-wracking. Is you don't know what to say, but you need to put yourself out there, you need to get over that hump, and you need to just make yourself known and just get over that first initial contact, because after that it is easy peasy lemon squeezy. So I highly suggest that you really just put yourself out there, make that first contact, whether it's a phone call, an email, dropping in to say hi, whatever you feel comfortable with, whatever works for you. Tip number 2, drive to the school in advance. Now this isn't only so that you can learn how to get there, although that is extremely important as well. This is more for traffic purposes. When you leave in the mornings, even a 5-minute difference can make a huge impact on your arrival time. So I highly recommend you hop in the car in advance before your first day and you practice the drive to the school. It'll teach you shortcuts if there are any. It'll let you know whether you can leave 5 minutes later or you need to leave 10 minutes earlier. Traffic makes a huge difference, and I could not imagine showing up to my first day of student teaching late because I either got lost or because I miscalculated my travel time for traffic. So please drive the route in advance, get used to the drive, get used to the traffic, because I am telling you, 5 minutes makes a huge impact. Tip number 3, write a short letter of introduction to your mentor teacher and your principal. I personally just wrote a very short email to them that told them just a little bit about me. I told them about my work experience with students. I told them about my education, that I am a liberal studies major with a minor in elementary education. I even took the time to let them know about my expectations for student teaching, but I also let them know about my goals as an educator in the future. After graduation, what kind of teacher do I want to be? What kind of philosophies do I believe in? I didn't make it very wordy. It was very short, a couple sentences for each thing, but I just wanted them to know a little bit about who I am both inside and outside of school, and I highly suggest you do the same because it lets you know that you're on the same playing field and it lets them get to know you a little bit better. Tip number 4, prepare a letter to send home introducing yourself to students and their parents. Now, you may not actually need this, however, some mentor teachers may require you to draft up a letter to send home with your students and their parents. This will just tell them a little bit about you as a student teacher and what they can expect to get from you in the classroom. Now, like I said, this may not even be required. I just found a template that I liked and I jotted down a couple of things that I would love to include in my letter. Now you don't necessarily have to type this up and have it ready to go, but it can't hurt to look at different templates, different wording. There's so many examples online, and TPT is a wonderful resource to try. So it can't hurt to at least have this prepared and have some things in the back of your mind ready to go in case they ask for a letter to be sent home. Tip number 5, and my personal favorite, begin packing your teacher bag. Now, I know this seems a little odd, however, I started packing my bag about a week and a half before my student teaching experience starts. simply because I forget things. I'm a very forgetful person. I don't mean to be, but I'm the kind of person, if you're anything like me, tip number 5 is crucial. When you think of something that you need to pack, put it in the bag immediately before you forget. Or if you're not home and you don't have access to the bag right away, please write it down. Put it on a post-it note, write it on the back of your hand. I don't really suggest that one, but that's okay. Put it as a reminder in your phone. Something, anything that just reminds you that you need to put this in your bag when you get home because you don't want to forget this for your student teaching. Tip number 6, start reviewing your student teaching handbook in advance. This is something I've already read through at least 2 or 3 times, and I plan to read through it 2 or 3 times again this weekend before I start on Monday, simply because there is a wealth of information in here, and it's not only what's expected of you, but it also will tell you what's required of you. I know for me, every single thing that I need in order to pass my student teaching experience is listed in this binder. So this is basically like my Bible until December. I personally, they emailed it to us, but I printed everything out. I put them in page protectors and I stuffed it in the binder. And then these tabs in the back are the different requirements that I will need, such as official documentation for students, my lesson plans, and our reflective journals, and those kinds of things. So I highly recommend that you read through this if you have one, and that way, if you read through it and you meet with your mentor teacher or your advisor or anyone that will be able to assist you throughout the semester, you can reference this when you're talking to them, and that way, if you do meet with them prior to the semester beginning, you will have questions prepared and you'll just know what they're talking about when they say things. So if you have this, please read this in advance or even up until the day of, but I highly, highly suggest that you read through this and you know it. Tip number 7, begin to prepare for the life of a professional. Now I know this sounds kind of odd, but there's a reason for this. Not everyone has worked a 40-hour work week, so when you start your student teaching experience, you will be going from working maybe not at all, or maybe 20 hours, or maybe you have worked a full-time job in the past, but you will be working 40 plus hours per week, and it takes some adjusting to if you're not used to it. So if you need to set a plan in advance with your family, your significant other, who's going to pick up the children, who's going to be doing what, I highly suggest that you do that in advance. I also recommend that if you need to meal plan, you start doing that so you can see what works and what doesn't work for you and your family. Make sure you have everything you need. If you need a lunchbox, make sure you have that. Make sure you have plenty of Tupperwares. Make sure you have schedules if you need that. Just find what works for you. But I'm telling you, you will need some form of a schedule or routine or plan or something put into motion that will work for you and your family. Now for me personally, my planning for the life of a professional is just meal planning on Saturdays, meal prepping on Sundays, and having some form of a plan set in motion for my dogs. I live alone in a house by myself. I'm responsible for the home. I'm responsible for 2 animals, and I know that when I come home from work, we will be hitting the dog park if the weather allows, or I will be having a neighbor watch after them if I know I'm going to be home late. So these are just the little things that you need to think of when you're not going to be home often, and I highly recommend that you begin to think about these things and you plan for this in advance. Tip number 8, begin adjusting your sleep schedule early. I cannot express this one enough, you guys. I mean, sleep is essential. It is great for your physical health, your mental well-being. Sleep is so important for your stress levels as well. I began about 3 weeks ago getting up at 6:30 in the morning and going to sleep anywhere between 9 to 10. It depends on the day, 10:30 at the absolute latest if it's a weekend. And now without an alarm, I am up at 7 and I am asleep by 9:30. I am the type of person where I need 8 hours of sleep to function, just even barely function. So if you're anything like me, start adjusting your sleep schedule early. This is not something that you want to wait for the last minute, because you will be miserable and cranky and tired, and nobody wants to deal with that while student teaching, because you're already excited and stressed and you're going to be tired. So start adjusting your sleep early. Tip number 9, begin organizing your workspace. Now, when I say your workspace, it doesn't have to be a designated home office or a designated desk or anything of the sort. It could be a coffee table, it could be a dining room table, it could even be one of those little trays that you sit in front of you when you're sitting and watching TV at night. Just have a space that is organized, decluttered, ready to go. Make sure all of your supplies are there and make sure it's easily accessible. You do not want to have to fight with a roommate, significant other, a child, or anything to be able to get your work done. You don't know what kind of workload you're going to have, So I really recommend that in advance you get a workspace ready to go. Tip number 10, enjoy your downtime of summer. Now, if you're starting this in the spring, you may have winter break and you may not have winter break. But if you're starting this in the fall, you have your summer break, you have your weekends, and I cannot stress enough how important it is that you enjoy your downtime. Find something that is enjoyable for you, that could be a release. It could just help to center you after a long work week, and your stress levels will be so minimal. You'll be happy, you'll be pleasant, you'll wake up more refreshed on Monday. So whether it's a summer, a weekend, one night a week that you enjoy date night with your significant other, anything like, along those lines, I really think it's beneficial to enjoy your downtime. And I know as teachers, we are constantly we have that mentality that we have to be doing something at all times, but we really need to make sure we take time to take care of ourselves, because no one else is going to do it for us, you guys. We need to put ourselves first sometimes, even if it's only for an hour or two a night. Go get a massage, go for a hike. For me, I take pictures, I go to the dog park, I get outdoors. And I personally, that is my stress relief. That is what helps me. I'll play tennis if I really just had a rough week. There are so many things that you can do to help center yourself, to help just re-energize and just enjoy your downtime is really all I'm trying to say. Please embrace it, enjoy it, and really just have fun, you guys. Student teaching is going to be stressful. I know it is. It's going to be exciting and challenging, and we're just going to be learning so much. But I'm really just hoping that even if one of these 10 tips helps to make your preparations less stressful or helps to get you just slightly more organized or prepared, then I did my job. But again, just enjoy yourself. Don't stress out. Don't overthink it. You're going to have a good time. You're going to have your good days. You're going to have your bad days. But we're learning. We are constantly learning. Even veteran teachers are always learning. So guys, that's all I have for my tips for student teaching. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you are a veteran teacher or a student teacher or new teacher, anything, please, if you have any other recommendations, tips, or strategies, please drop them in the comments down below. I would love to hear how you went about preparing for your student teaching experience or even your first year of teaching. I love to interact with other teachers, and you can learn so much from each other if we just work with each other and stop competing. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate your support, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.